20.
Oh, how come mine? There you go. I had to hold down and.
Is he live now? You guys both are. We're good. Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Cicero Planning Board meeting. Would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Mr. Abbey, would you lead us off, please? Thank you. First item of business is the approval of the minutes from the May 18th meeting. Everybody's had a chance to review. Any questions or comments? Do we have a motion to approve?
Move they be approved as printed.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Duval, seconded. Mr. Duval.
Yes.
Mr. Abbey.
Yes.
Mr. Snyder.
Yes.
Mr. Bloss.
Yes.
Too many Dons. And I vote yes. Minutes have been approved. And now we'll open up the meeting to public input. Is there anybody here that would like to speak to any item on the agenda? Or any item that is in front of the board? Please come forward. If nobody's approached, we'll close the public input and move on to the first agenda item. This is for a site plan proposed office at the property at 8448 Wayfair Drive. The applicant, sir. Welcome back.
See if that, there we go. Mike LaSalle, MBL Engineering, on behalf of Mr. Staskos, who is here as well. Give a quick update on the site plan. The changes since the last time based on Mark Parrish's comments. We did update the grading plan. So now there's a full grading plan with the drainage, our limited disturbance, and the comments from last time, which included some additional landscaping along South Bay Road, which you now see with the call outs, some kind of street type trees. And we called out all the type of species out front, some lower bushes and a couple trees, deciduous trees on the corners of the parking lot, just to break it up a little bit. One of the other good comments in terms of employees, right now we do show max of 5 employees with the parking there. We have 6 spaces, 1 ADA shown right now. And again, this isn't a facility where we're going in and out with customers. It's really just his employees at the facility. So not much more changes on the plan. The existing sign that's out on the corner of Wayfair and South Bay, we did have a note to get rid of some of the dead trees and clean that area up, but that sign is to remain at this time. So no considerable changes there. We did show the vinyl fence on the back right for outdoor storage if there is anything in the back lot, from the building back to the back parking lot. So you won't be able to see from South Bay if anything is stored in that back area, whether it be a trailer or some sort of utility trailer wouldn't be seen. So with that said, I'm hopeful that the elevations, I don't know if you have the elevations, we did provide some colored elevations, which would be like more of a cream off-white colored building, which shown there with some stonework on the bottom. So, veneer stone type bottom style that would really, I think it makes the building look good. Other than that, I really don't have any other updates other than what Mark's reviewed. There was a floor plan included too. I know that was one specific thing that was asked last time. Hopefully he has that. He does. Perfect. You can see just the office space in the front with the 4 offices, and then kind of reception area is what's shown with one kind of open space. So very simplistic layout there. So I guess we'd entertain any questions, I guess would be the best step for us to see if you guys have anything further that you need clarified.
Okay, great. Thank you. We'll start with Mr. Duval.
What are you doing as far as lighting goes?
Yeah, so right now we do have site lighting, which is all wall packs, which are shown in the site plan by those there's perfect. So on the wall packs only, showing on this photometrics. So you can see pretty much at the edge of our parking lots, we're 0.1 in the back. You're really dark in the back, about halfway across there, you had a 0.2. But for the purpose of the back area for lighting, I think we meet the intent. Now in the front where the parking lot is, there is soffit lighting under that overhang. So that's going to add a lot of spillover, and that's shown here with one dark sky compliant wall pack on the front too, that gets you that parking lot lit in a 1 to 1.5 range, which I think is very reasonable for the entrance and exit for the employees is lit up very well. So yeah, so all wall packs, no poles.
And it's paved in the front and it's run across on the side and then back.
Exactly, right up to the front of the building where all the people are going in and out daily. It's all paved. When he has uses equipment, whether it be a utility trailer or a van or something, it would be coming out of the garage and using the run across. So from the front of the building, you're going to see just that blacktop, and I think we're hidden enough now from South Bay with a couple of the trees and then just the general setback. I think the gravel will kind of be hidden.
And no sign or just a small sign or?
No signage
No
at all.
sign at all.
Right.
Okay. All right, I'm good.
Thank you. Mr. Abbey?
I had a couple of things. I kind of like the styling, for the country styling.
Yeah, very,
But I almost thought it was
Earthy.
more like a Cracker Barrel.
well, very earthy tones,
But
yeah.
it looks nice. These windows up towards the roof, there's only one floor, or is there a second floor there?
Only one floor, so it's going to feel very industrial inside. So imagine in the office area, it's full height, windows up high and down low, like you would see kind of in that industrial look.
Okay,
Probably exposed spiral ductwork for the heating and the AC out there, and
Okay.
that sort of look. So
and refresh my memory, it seems so he said that it had like a motor home and some other equipment that they
yep,
make.
and
use
the owner is here tonight, so he can clarify if he needs to. But my understanding is they do have an RV, a utility trailer, some like an ATV, some other stuff used for your. There is.
Can you come on up, please? Introduce yourself.
Just give a quick summary of.
Yes, how you guys doing today?
give
So,
your
yes,
name.
my company does,
Can you give your name for the record, please?
Steven Stasco.
Thank you, Steve.
Nice to meet you guys. So my company does surveillance for mainly insurance fraud purposes, but involved in that, we have boats, we have different ATVs. We have, at times campers, things like that, that we use for different setups and different situations. Whether it be out in the country or in the city, there's all a variety of different vehicles that we use. So in that being said, we don't use them all at the same time. So that's the need for the large amount of storage that we have in that area of the building.
Okay, what I was wondering, will you be doing your own maintenance for these machines or offsite?
It'll probably be off-site. I mean, they're simple stuff, we probably would be doing maintenance on, but
Right.
we don't really get into mechanical work that much.
Okay. I'm thinking more like oil changes and lubes and such things.
No, probably not, to be
Okay.
honest with you. More of a just dry storage area.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Snyder.
So you'll make available to us pictures of all the vehicles and things you have in case my wife hires you to check on me? Okay, I'm good.
You're good now?
I'm good.
Mr. Bloss?
Just a quick question on the trees along South Bay Road. Is there any chance we could have maybe one or two right on the Wayfarer? Maybe take one or two out of the,
Well, we did add two
South
red
Bay.
oaks on Wayfarer.
Yeah.
That's what's right on the right of the driveway pulling in. It'll kind of tie and then
Yeah.
go to the left. We could probably add one more down there. And
yeah, say if you're looking at the print, right, it says 500 feet front yard setback and that, right? Maybe in there, just kind of, it would just break that up.
sorry, up there, 50-foot front yard setback. So there, I see what you're
Yes.
saying. pull around the
That's a,
corner.
you know, kind of a big, wide open space there, but yeah.
Probably the best tree would be either just creating a little bit of separation. I think with you guys, if you approve it tonight, conditional.
Yeah.
To say do an even separation where maybe 2 trees are turned the corner.
Okay,
Would that be fair?
I think that would work.
I don't think you need to take any away though, just add to. Big fan of trees,
Trees. Trees are expensive right now. It's crazy how much trees are right now.
everything in.
Yeah.
Don,
But
did you have anything else?
No, I'm all set.
Mrs. Hogan?
Is there a dumpster on here?
No planned dumpster on the
Okay,
property.
you're not gonna need one?
No, we don't need one
Okay.
for the activities.
No, I didn't have any other questions.
I have nothing further. Steve?
No, thank you.
Mr. Jermaine? Anything? Mr. Parrish?
Looks like we're all set. The only thing I want to note is, I guess, is they are looking at the additional 75 gallons of water per day to be added to the sewer system. Town has enacted their called the sewer trust remediation fund, I believe.
Got a new name?
So I think that's being handled through Steve's office when building permits come in.
Correct. They'll have to pay the I&I fees prior to building permit issuance.
Right, gotcha.
So,
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve the standard seeker.
Second.
Mr. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Abbey?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Bloss?
Yes,
And I vote yes. Seeker passes. Neil, would you propose a motion to approve?
Yes, you can move for the adoption of a resolution approving the application known as Steven Zasco Verified Investigative Services, 8448 Wayfair Drive, Post Office. This approval is strictly conditioned on the following. 1, the color schemes, renderings, and or elevations as presented by the applicant to the planning board in regards to this application shall be incorporated by reference into this site plan and the board's approval thereof. Accordingly, the actual project must substantially conform to the items as presented herein. 2, applicant will add 2 trees along the Wayfarer Drive between Wayfarer Drive and South Bay Road.
So move.
Do a second?
second,
Mr. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Abbey?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Bloss?
yes.
And I vote yes. You're all set.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next item on the agenda is for an amended site plan. This is for a proposed self-storage on Northern Boulevard.
Good evening, everyone. Alex Wisniewski for LJR Engineering on behalf of Paul Joint, the owner. This may look familiar to you. We were here, if you recall, back in, we got original site plan approval back in February of 2021. And you know, with your new code requirement, site plan approvals expire within 1 year without commencement of construction. As you know, probably site construction did start back in the spring of 2021, and essentially they got the rough grading done and the base course for the parking lot established. At which time I think they started to reconsider the building configurations to some extent. And there was an identified need for climate controlled space, which our original plan did not accommodate. So the intention is with the new plan, the original plan had was it 12 buildings? Thank you, Mark. 12 buildings, each at 3,000 square feet. So they're all 30 by 100 foot spacing. If you look at that outer perimeter of the paved parking area and access, that line is essentially unchanged with this new plan. The new plan now constitutes 8 separate buildings totaling 38,000 square foot thereabout. So there is a slight increase in total building square footage, but we have not increased the overall development footprint nor increased impervious surfaces. The one nice thing that this has done in consolidating the buildings, we've got a little bit of additional space width between the drive aisles on those front buildings. If you recall, the original review by the fire department, they had concerns relative to fire access and whatnot. Ultimately, we did satisfy those concerns, but with this layout, that'll actually provide even additional room for maneuvering of emergency vehicles as well as customers, trailers, et cetera. So the intention is with that, the largest building, that will be the climate controlled building, and it'll have man door entrances on the front and I believe there's an elevation. So kind of a third of the way in from either side, there's gonna be man door access. And if, Mark, could you zoom out on the floor plan just above it? You can see there's an interior corridor system that would allow access to the individual units from within. And then there's also be access with overhead doors along the sides and in the rear to this largest building. And then in the case of the balance of the other changes, really in consulting, that they created a couple of, instead of 30 by 100, we created a couple that are 40 by 100, and we created a couple that are 60 by 100. So essentially kind of smushing some buildings together. As a result of the new layout, we did have a new site lighting plan prepared, which is included in your package. Essentially the same design as you previously approved, same fixtures, all building mounted with the exception of one pole mounted fixture at the driveway entrance. We are now proposing to bring a gas service in from Topman Road via the utility easement that extends to the west. And that will bring the ability to have heated space in that largest building. I don't know if you saw in that I did submit some sample photos to give you the color scheme. The color scheme is slightly different than what was originally proposed. I think it was a burgundy and brown base, and now this color scheme is branded with green and beige to complement the new main building. And again, as you saw in the elevations for the main building, the front of that'll be accentuated nicely with some stone features and different textures. Steve, as you and I had discussed the fire code, I did make my client aware of that and the interpretation of that, and they're prepared to, these buildings will all be constructed in accordance with New York State building code. They potentially would have to partition some spaces to keep below certain fire flow area thresholds. I think that's generally it for the changes. I know is procedurally, per your code, the original site plan approval did expire. Given the changes we wanted to institute, we're asking also for an amended approval. So I don't know if we need to formally.
Good question.
So I guess we're looking for either an approval of the expired site plan or just an approval of the amended plan, if procedurally that's appropriate.
Well, then you started the construction before the end of the first year, didn't you?
As I understand it, the code requires actually building.
You have to get a building permit.
Huh?
Building.
No building permit.
No building permit. So there was no permit for actual construction of the buildings.
So whatever we need to do, Neil.
Well, I think it's an amended plan. There's been some substantial changes, so it would require your approval.
So do we need,
Otherwise, we have an approval of a plan that they're not really building. Close, it's Steve's call, but.
Yeah. I agree, we definitely need to approve this. Review and approve. Do we also need to extend the initial approval because it expired?
I don't believe so. So if this were so approved tonight, then they would have a year again to start to work.
And obviously the intention is to abandon the originally approved
Okay.
plan in favor of this plan.
All right, I'm fine with that, as long as you are. Give me any questions?
Drainage?
Sure.
Drainage,
Yes, sir.
is there, are you doing?
No changes to the approved drainage system. They've already rough graded the stormwater facilities in place. It's intended to act as an infiltration facility. It's not fully to grade, nor has it been topsoil. There's no outlet structure installed yet, so that work has yet to be completed. But in terms of the grading plan, I massaged the grades a little bit within the limits of the proposed pavement lines to the new building positions, and outside of that edge of pavement, those grades all remain unchanged. Unchanged from the original design.
I just wanted to discuss what we started on the last plan was the entrance and exit and signage appropriately for safety purposes.
Relative to the site, sure. Mark, could you pull the site plan back up? Yeah, so the proposed access point is coincides with what was the existing farm access to the lot. There's already a culvert in place. OCOD had already conceptually approved the plan back when we did the original site plan. And that driveway coincidentally aligns with the Roselli driveway on the other side of Northern Boulevard.
Okay.
I think we discussed a little bit last time. I've got to still secure our final permit from OCDOT from this, and I anticipate they're going to require at least some additional signage relative to no left turns. I don't know if they're going to require a raised median or not. What I currently am doing it with just with asphalt markings. But if DOT requires a right in, right out curbed element or additional signage, obviously we'll have to comply with that to secure that permit.
It's always difficult to plan for stupidity.
Absolutely. But yeah, so obviously there's no intent for vehicles to be able to make a left exiting that site, and the grass median is going to obviously deter that. And given the depth of it, a car would likely get stuck in that median to try to make that move.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Snyder?
I didn't see any layout for the condensers. If you're gonna have a environmental control, is that all gonna go on the roof of the building or?
My understanding is if the AC units would be building mounted or roof mounted. That front facade, I understand is kind of like a parapet, if you will. And then there's a slope roof behind that, but I think they have the ability to create a flat space for AC units.
I know if Mr. Bloss was the contractor, he would put it on the ground because he doesn't like ladders. Right, Dan?
Correct.
I'm good.
I'm afraid of heights.
Mr. Bloss?
I'm all set.
Mrs. Hogan?
I'm all set.
So the spaces aren't shown as being divided up, but I assume that would be done at the request of the tenant?
At the point of building permit application, those floor plans would be detailed as to how they're partitioned, but there is an intent here to obviously create some smaller space that are accessible only via man doors instead of overhead doors. And they will preserve around that outer perimeter for the ability to have the overhead man doors. This new building affords some deeper spaces than the original plan had. Potentially for, if a contractor needs to store, his equipment in there, something of that manner, or get a trailer in and out. There really isn't much of an intent to store boats and campers and things of that nature. And again, there's no intent for outdoor storage at all.
Okay. Steve?
I'm all set, thanks.
Neil?
I'm all set.
Mark?
Also,
Do you need to review? Or
I've taken a look at it.
We're good?
It's substantially, from my perspective, it's substantially similar to the previous plans.
yeah, I agree. Steve, you said the fire department has had a chance to look at it?
And they received the modified plan. I've spoken to them and they have no comments.
So we're good to move forward then?
Yeah, you're good to move forward. It's kind of a hybrid. It's a change, but it's a little bit more than the codes could approve on their own, but it's something we can just approve.
Yep.
So I would suggest we just, if you want to approve, I'll give you the motion.
We don't need a seeker again. Please make the motion.
So you're gonna move to the adoption of a resolution approving the application known as amended site plan, Paul G. Joint Northern Boulevard, Topman Road, tax map number 550226.2, proposed self-storage. This approval is strictly conditioned on the following: color schemes, renderings, and or elevations presented by the applicant to the planning board in regards to this application shall be incorporated or referenced into this site plan and the board's approval thereof. According to the actual project must substantially conform to the items as presented.
Somebody like to make that a motion?
That's in the form of a motion.
Jim just made it. Quietly.
Oh, I didn't hear. I'm
I
sorry.
would like to second it.
Second.
Mr. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Abbey?
Yeah,
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Bloss?
Yes.
And I vote yes. All
Okay,
set.
thank you so much. Have a great night.
thank you.
That concludes our agenda items. Is there any comments or discussion from the team? We have a motion to adjourn.